bidding. Ladies and gentlemen, Jemuli, are you still there? I hope you're subscribing and you're sharing this information, okay? Now, the other question that is commonly asked, and people ask me as their consultant, I am abroad, I am planning to send some things back home. Will I be required to pay tax? You'll be required to pay tax. First of all, there's what we call escorted cargo, what you call the luggage of the passenger cargo, or the goods that you just send. If you just send goods into the country, RA charges any goods that are above $50. For as long as those goods are valued above $50, they will be charged tax. Will they charge them even if they are used? For as long as they are sent and whether used or new, they will be charged taxes. Anything above $50. Okay, what if I'm the one coming with them? Janabio. What about Janabio? URA. And that is, we go back to the two documents that we talked about from the beginning, where that organization, where URA derives its powers. So these things are because there is an East African Customs Management Act that was signed that governs the whole of East Africa. These are the laws. So for as long as you're coming in as a passenger, yes, I have put for you a link where you can find, where you're going to be able to find that act. Then they will be able to tax your goods. They will only exempt you on a few things. A few things, of course, there are things that are exempted, there are things that are not exempted. You will not have an exemption on fabrics. You will not have exemptions on beverages and alcoholic beverages of all kinds. But they will only give you a liter. I think that act. If you go to the East African Management Act, you should be able to find under the fifth schedule, the fifth schedule of the agreement. You will have. They will give you, if you are a person who smokes, you will have a few sticks that are granted to you for you to be able for tobacco. If you have spirits and wines, the spirits you're given 1 liter, while the wine you are given 2 liters, okay? And then 250 grams for perfume. If you're bringing in the perfume, and then you will only have 250 grams. Those are the exemptions. Because those are things that you're going to be using for personal use. And then that law provides that anything that is above $500 pays tax. Are they going to consider my clothes and value them? No, your clothes are considered personal effects. If you're coming with your luggage, your clothes that are used are considered personal effects. So what do they consider? URL looks at what is new. So whatever is new, for as long as it exceeds anything that is above $500, goes on and pays tax. Like, don't say because this glass or this phone is $2 is $100, then something else is $20, then it doesn't. No, they add them together. So the total is what they look out for, not the value of just a single item. So then, yes, the taxes will be paid. Now, I am let me deal with the last. I am a Ugandan, and for our sisters and brothers and friends in the diaspora, I am planning to resettle back home, and I'm a returning resident. Are there particular incentives that are accorded to me? Am I taxed? Ladies and gentlemen, one of the policies to encourage returning residents to return home is to offer the exemptions. So all your goods, your household items that you've been using, all of them, just carry your house, put it in a container and load it. Every household good is exempted. What you require is to show and have proof that, okay, you've been staying out of this country. Your passport should be able to show what you've been doing. There should be contracts of, yes, I've been working. So you are returning resident. So as long as these goods are used, and then they are in this, I have to emphasize, because that's where most of the clients get it. We've had the goods should be in quantities that are for consumption, personal use, in those quantities. You cannot bring in a container that has 20 fridges and I'm a returning resident, these are my personal effects. No, we are saying we are looking at one, two things. Why are you having 5 phones as a returning resident? Why 5 TVs? No, the quantities should be those that you are able to use. And then you have your wearing apparel, the clothes that you're putting on, you have the household effects, and then you're granted also an exemption on one car. One car, now there are conditions that surround this car. This car, you should have owned it and registered it. So your logbook should be able to show that you've had it for more than a year. It should not be a minibus, or passenger, or bus, or lorry. No, they are saying it should be your personal use car. Okay? Now, that personal use car, you should have owned it. You should be above 18 years of age. And then you will be granted an exemption. Now, the question that surrounds that and the other thing subsequently that comes is, how many cars do I benefit an exemption? You only benefit exemption of one car. You can only be, the law, the East African Customs Management Act, the 5th schedule, part B, that talks about these exemptions, requires, according to that law, that you should have had that car in Uganda and driven it or enjoyed that exemption at least for more than 4 years for you to benefit another exemption of another car. Okay? So, and for you to be able to benefit, then you need to bring proof that the car that you originally had, you sold it. And you know why? Because the exemption doesn't go to the car. The exemption goes to the individual. And it is believed you are one individual who can only drive one car. You have hands that can only, you can't be here and here driving how many cars. So that's why the exemption goes to you as an individual. So if you've had the car for more than 4 years, then after 4 years, you can benefit. But then you should show evidence that you sold this car. And the person that you sold it to paid taxes, because it will be tracked down in the system to see. And so that it's changed number plate. So when you pay taxes, your number plate changes. The person's number plate changes from personal to the normal. They change it back to the normal number plates. So that's how you get to exempt. So you can take one car at a time. Ladies and gentlemen, there is so much that you guys keep asking. I know, and these are a few of the questions that I was able to tackle today. I will be tackling more. That's the reason that you need to subscribe. Go there, subscribe, please. Subscribe and share these videos. Share this information. Share this knowledge. Let's get to develop together. Let's get to understand some of these dynamics. Understand, tax should not be an animal. It should be digested. You have your consultant here. You have Business Hub that is here to teach us about businesses and most of these things. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for keeping with us. I'll leave your comments in your comments. Let's interact in the comment section. What do you want to hear from us? What do you want to hear about? What are those topics you want us to tackle?